thing, your non-phone.
Okay.
And then you might have
I think we're live. Oh, hello everyone, and welcome, because this is going to be the most effed up show you've ever seen, and you're going to like it, right?
That's why I'm here.
And that's why Bill is there. He's the king. So, hey, I'm Mia Voss. You're watching the Mia Connect Power Chat, and you're actually watching two Mias. You've got like neck vision, which for a woman over 40 is not a good view. So, I'm moving my camera for that. So big shout out to Bill Reed, who has been calming my crazy ass down for the last half an hour. You guys, my Windows audio just completely crapped the bed. And here's the funny thing. My two guests have been so patient this week that I've been like checking in with them, making sure they were all had everything set up. And who's the problem child? Right? So with that, after this show is done, this is going to happen. And I don't care that it's only going to be 10:30 in the morning, so how about that? So right now, I'm actually going through my computer and then through my phone for the audio. So hopefully it's sounding good to everybody. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you're doing good.
Sounds fine to me.
All right, cool. Let's get started. Listen, that's Bill Reed. He's going to be in with us for the relationship expert. This lovely woman, this is Erica. Hello, darling. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I like that background too. And your company is called, yes, and your company is called A Little Nudge. I love that name.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk, we're going to get to you in a second. We're going to tell us all about it. This is Dana Corey. Hey, gorgeous. I love those glasses too. My girls are looking beautiful.
So glad you're having me here. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm really glad to see your face.
You too, and come hell or high water, we're going to do this too. So, hey guys, out in the audience, I'm going to open this up so I can see your comments too. I'm afraid to turn on comment tracker here, but I might have you girls move your cameras up a little bit because for some reason, look at Leah, look at there's Mia Vision there. Everybody's sitting below the desktop, so I might have you move it up just a little tiny bit. Let me open this up because I think the audience has been waiting patiently. Have they not, Bill? Do you see any comments there? We lost Bill.
I'm not even looking. I don't even know where to look at this point.
That's okay. Look, yeah, Bill's just happy to, as my phrase I love to say, Bill's just happy to have pants on, right? And we don't even know if Bill has pants on. There's that too.
You won't know.
Till we get to till we get to who's what's on the bottom.
Pants on either. Just saying.
Who needs
I didn't even think
on
about it.
Friday?
I didn't even. It's Friday. Here we go. So here are our comments today. We've got Sheila Hensley. She says, hey, Mia Voss, problem child, sounding really good. Thank you, darling. Dave Pipe is out there. He's here from England. Hello, my brother. Carmen's here from Spain. Kim Armstrong, love you to bits. Ron Schneeberger. Nazim says, this is where Meerkat could have saved the day, except that we wouldn't have been able to see everybody else, although that would have been funny to watch me panic like I did. Yeah, let's see. Who else do we have? Nazim, thank you. Mike, John, Emmy, I got your message. Thank you so much. Ashley is here in the audience, the girl that gave me the super booty. I'm just saying. Dawn Swick, Renshaw, hi, Twinsy, love you to bits. Richard, guys, so we have our experts here today. We're going to be talking about relationships and everything about relationships. So not just dating, but what it takes to kind of get yourself in the right mindset so that all of your relationships are aligned, business, personal, the whole thing. That doesn't mean that I know how to run a show well, but maybe my relationships will be better. Who knows? So, so Erica, I'm going to start with you, darling. Tell us about you and tell us about A Little Nudge.
Sure, I'd love to. So thanks for having me. And so my name is Erica Etten, and I have a business called A Little Nudge where I help people with all aspects of online dating. So how does one even get into this field? They didn't offer online dating 101 in college or anything like that. So my background's actually in economics, and I worked in finance for a long time. But I realized it wasn't my cup of tea. And what was my cup of tea? Online dating. I was a very early adopter of online dating. I started, I'm sorry, I'm seeing something crazy on the screen.
Yeah, sorry, that's me.
Okay.
You know what, forget it. You're going to see the floor. You're going to see my dog here. It's all good.
Oh, I left mine home today. I started online dating back in 2001 when nobody did online dating. And I did it on and off for years, had different, various relationships, lots of dates. And then since my background is pretty analytical, I started tracking my results. So what was my response rate? What was my conversion rate from response to date? And I really got that working so that my response rate was as high as it could be. My conversion rate was too. And then my friends started asking for help. What are you doing that I'm not? You know, how can you help me? Can you rewrite my profile? So on the one hand, I was in finance and it just wasn't for me. I wanted to leave. And on the other hand, I loved what I was doing to help with my friends. And I realized I can make this a business. So I quit my job just over 4 years ago and started A Little Nudge. And it essentially gets people over the obstacles of doing online dating. It's hard to write about yourself, so I help with that. And it's extremely time consuming, so I help with that too. And then last year, I came out with my first book called Love at First Sight, S-I-T-E, that essentially takes you from the first click of an online dating site through the first date.
Got it. Hold on one second. Somebody is making a comment about the focus, but don't worry about it. I just turned it. It's all on Erica right now, which is all good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Erica, I love that. I just think that is so interesting that you had that finance background. I mean, talk about that switch to the switch from finance and then getting into the game of dating, and especially, like you said, the whole idea of how hard it is. I mean, I know it from working with people when they even give me their description, you guys were great, about their business when they come on the show. I mean, people have a hard time describing their business, let alone themselves and what really fires them up.
Exactly. It's really important to have a good elevator pitch, whether it's online or talking about your business or whatever it is. And even if you're a great writer, when it comes to writing about yourself, it gets hard because you don't know which aspects to share and which aspects not to. You don't want to sound like you're bragging too much, but on the other hand, you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. So I talk to my clients, get to really know them for an hour, and then kind of synthesize what should be in that profile and what shouldn't be.
And we'll get into this too, but I'm wondering too, what are some of the main, well, I want to find out too, what are some of the main problems that people have? I think one, yeah, you're right, it's probably like they don't want to feel like they're bragging, but they want to be honest. I mean, I know from people that do online dating, that's the hardest thing they see is, you know, they whatever, it's like a wishful thinking kind of list.
Oh, I know.
Right? Like, this is what I want to be, like, yeah, but you're not.
Well, exactly, and I would say the biggest problem is being too generic. Like, we see a lot of profiles that are, you know, I love to laugh and have fun. I'm just as comfortable in a little black dress as I am a pair of jeans and sneakers. I mean, people do that because they think, well, I want to appeal to everybody. So I shouldn't limit myself by saying what I'm really like. I should just make sure I cover all of my bases. And I always say, please do the complete opposite. It's okay to turn people off in your profile because at least you're staying true to you. And you may go on fewer dates, but you'll go on dates with people who actually know something about who you are.
I'd say one of the biggest ones I'm going to focus on, because I remember I thought I was pretty clear that I'm not big into sports, but I think I need to be much more clear about that. Of like, I will only be, if you give me food and booze at some kind of sporting event, you might get me to go. But I've been very out loud proud about my 0% interest in sports.
I mean, that's at least a cute way to say it, or just don't mention it at all. I mean, generally, you're going to mention what's important to you. Like, also, you know, it's funny, in my own profiles over the years, I never write anything about going to the gym or working out because that's something that people also try to overcompensate for, right? Somebody can look at your picture and decide if you're in good shape or not. So it's really just putting the things in your profile that you want people to know about you that they can't tell otherwise.
Yeah, we lost her.
I can't hear you anymore. I can tell something's really funny, but I can't hear it. One, something about a phone. Dina?
Hi, Erica. I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me, but we can't hear Mia, correct?
Right. And she's doing something on her phone.
Something on her phone. So should we just gossip about her while we're waiting?
Yeah, that's a great idea. How do you know her?
That's Mia.
That Mia. Oh, poor Mia. and Bill went to load the car. 1 minute.
Well, should we keep talking?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Do you want to introduce yourself?
She calling? No. Yeah, sure, I'll introduce myself. I'm Dana Corey. I am the modern relationship expert at Big Heart, Big Life. Sorry, I was a little distracted with all the hoopla. Big Heart, Big Life. And what I do is I really work with successful women entrepreneurs.
Oh.
Right? So I don't know if you know, but most of us, right, most women, when we're working on our business, we really focus, we pour our heart and soul in it, and we have our head down, and we reach some success, but then all of a sudden we'll hit a wall, and we're banging against the wall, even more focused. And with frustration, we'll look up for support and realize we've lost touch with everybody that we care about.
I've been there.
Yeah, exactly.
As a business owner, I've been there, and it's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, and it feels really lonely and isolating, and
yeah.
So I really teach women how to build a business that brings in lots of money, while at the same time sustaining their relationships and actually deepening their relationships with their partner, their spouse, their family, their friends.
I love that. And where are you located?
I'm in Portland, but right now I'm in Southern California. I'm actually at a mastermind. I'm going in late because I'm going to be
that sounds lovely.
on Hangouts with Mia.
So you're in Portland, Oregon?
I am in Portland, Oregon.
Oh,
Where are you?
I was just there last month for the first time, and I was obsessed with the food. I took an entire day, walked everywhere, and ate. That's all I did. I had ice cream and donuts and fried chicken and whiskey. It was the best day ever.
Oh. Are you back, Mia?
Who knows? I mean, Siri. I have been getting.
We already finished the show. We're good. So,
guys, this is how I know I coached my clients right, or my guests right. That I saw Dana talking. I'm like, girlfriend's just gonna make shit happen, and you did. I didn't get to hear. No, you did.
I just introduced myself. Now we're talking about Portland and food.
Oh, awesome. See, and I want to see, I've got to go over and see how everybody's doing on our guests too. Look, we still are retaining all of our guests, by the way. So apparently I'm an unnecessary.
well, it's like watching a train wreck. Who wouldn't stay? I shouldn't say that. That was a horrible thing to say this week.
No, it really is.
My bad.
Well, and I kept out of no, girlfriend, people, this is what they tune in for. I kept getting kicked out of Hangouts on both my phone, and then I just got on my mobile too. So this will be interesting when I make my announcement at the end of the show that I was going to make, by the way, because then it'll really make sense. So listen, let's talk about, so Dana, I'm not sure what you said, but I know what your shtick is all about, and I love it. So I want to start with you because I love the idea of, and then you guys can both banter back and forth. I love the idea that it really does start with the person, obviously. So getting healthy and getting plugged in, and then that affects all your relationships. So talk a little bit about that, honey.
Well, really how you relate anywhere is how you relate everywhere. And so often what we try to do is segment our lives, partition our lives as if our personal love relationship is in one place and our business relationships are another place. And the truth is that if either of those things aren't going well, the truth is the other one isn't going well either. You just haven't quite figured out what it is. And so wherever it is you decide to start, that's what I always tell my clients. Look, we can start working in your business or we can start working in your personal life. Just pick one, and we'll go there. And then as we kind of untangle the strings, as we get really into, okay, how are you relating? What is between you and other people? What's in your communication? As we pull that string, all of a sudden, stuff clears up in the other area.
What do you find that people do choose first? Is it business or personal, or is it kind of a 50-50?
Mostly it's business. Business women are much more comfortable with business. And, when we were working in their businesses or working at getting their businesses succeeding to the point that they're getting the money that they really want, most of it is step-by-step business processes and practices, right? But because the communication, the relationship stuff only shows up in the process of actually doing the business. So we work at, how do you get yourself out there? How do you meet your ideal client? How do you make a sale? All of those things. And in the process of that comes, I don't really know how to say, kind of in the conversation, that's when we start to learn really, oh, so that was what happened with that client? Well, let's talk about that. Like, how were you being that was it? And I always, it's really a case of being rather than doing. We all want to do so much, and yet relationships is not about doing. Relationships is about how you be. And it's a lot, it's not that it's more difficult. It requires letting down your barriers and being willing to be vulnerable to actually start working in that area of, well, how do you be?
Well, I'd say the vulnerability part is huge, right? Because, I mean, we're all supposed to be these strong, multitasking. Look, there's 3 of me right here. Come on. Multitasking people that are getting it done. So the vulnerability thing is really tough for people to plug into.
Yeah. So. And, the truth is, though, that real intimacy is only possible if you're willing to be vulnerable. And vulnerability is about being willing to take the risk. Because to be vulnerable, there's always the chance that someone's going to say, yeah, sorry, no, or right, or a potential client will say, yeah, no, not interested, right? But if you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to get the yes either, right? So it's all about the willingness to be risky.
Woo, which is terrifying. Erica, do you want to pipe in on that one?
I'm sorry, what?
I was saying, do you want to pipe in on that too, the idea of the vulnerability? I mean, that's probably one of the
Absolutely. And it's just so interesting how many commonalities there are between business and dating. I mean, even the interview process, right? When are they going to call me? I'm sitting around here waiting, twiddling my thumbs. But I completely agree that you have to make yourself vulnerable, and in my scope it's in dating, because if you're going to get the same answer regardless, then you might as well have tried. So if you don't ask somebody out, the answer is no, because you haven't asked them out. But if you do ask somebody out and the answer is no, at least you've tried, and you can close that door and you don't have to wonder what if. And it's interesting, I was actually having 2 different conversations yesterday with clients, 2 completely different clients, a woman in her 40s in New York and a guy in his 20s in California. And they both said the same thing to me about dates they have coming up. They said, I hope this first date isn't a waste of my time. And that really struck a chord with me, and I asked them both the exact same question. What is your ultimate goal? And they said, a long-term relationship. And I said, then that you have to put yourself on the first date. Every first date, every relationship starts with the first date, right? So it's that same concept of being vulnerable and putting yourself out there and being open to rejection and learning about yourself in the process.
What's some of the advice that both of you give to people when they put themselves out there and they're super honest and then it just goes disastrously?
Well, here's what I always say. The only way to protect yourself completely from hurt is to lock yourself in a room and never go out.
That's true.
It doesn't matter how old you are, you're going to get hurt. Whether you're married, you're not married, whether you're in business, you're going to get hurt. You can't protect yourself from getting hurt unless you just don't want to live.
Right.
So, right? I don't know anybody who doesn't really want to live, who doesn't really want to participate. So if you're going to at least make that choice, play as full out as you can. And then, if you get hurt, well, pick yourself up as soon as you can and keep going. Because that's all there is, right? That's the whole idea. That's what life is all about.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And the act of protecting yourself is hurting you. Because, it takes people sometimes time to open up, and they'll put up these walls based on previous experiences they had, whether in business or in dating. And they'll put up these walls in order to protect themselves. So they'll go on these dates, but they won't fully be there. And then the ultimate outcome is that it won't work because their date feels that they've put up these walls. So by putting up these walls, they've actually gotten the outcome that they don't want because they're trying to. And it's this vicious cycle. I hope that made sense. But I completely agree with everything Dana said. You just got to lay your cards out, and if it doesn't work, you figure out what went wrong, you learn from it, and then you try again.
And I would think that the advice, too, I don't know if you guys remember that famous scene from Sex and the City, He's Just Not That Into You. Do you remember that scene?
I don't remember the scene, but I mean, I read the book. So.
And the guy that was the writer for Sex and the City wrote the He's Just Not That Into You book. So he wrote this famous scene where Maria had went on a date, and Berger, the boyfriend, and she was saying how the guy hadn't, just kind of like, well, he seemed into me, but I wasn't really sure. And he just goes, yeah, he's just not that into you. And she just thought it was the most refreshing piece of information because she realized that she was being really honest and he was kind of not interested. And once she got that like, oh, that's not my deal, I just thought it was the most interesting thing. And I did. Yeah, I thought that book was actually one of the better, I don't know what you guys think, one of the better dating books out there to just kind of free yourself up of guessing when you know you're completely into or you're completely on point with what your message is about, right?
Absolutely. And I also say, I make people say, if they don't get answers to their emails online, I always just tell them to say, they just didn't like my hair. Because we have no idea, right? We have absolutely no idea why people don't respond. So I just like to put it in the hands of whatever, just didn't like my hair, so be it.
Yeah, and it's even when because I used to do just relationships too, right? About a year and a half ago. And what I would tell them is everybody goes into it with a list of the kind of person they want. What do they want? And maybe you're just not on that list. It's not personal. You aren't on that list. And so, go find somebody who's on your list, whose list you're also on.
Absolutely.
And, yeah. You have to have a little bit of I love the 4 agreements, the 4, by John Miguel Ruiz. There's the 4 agreements. And the one that I love the most is don't take things personally. Don't take things personally. Because the more you can just know that it's not about you, it's not about you. People's judgment often is about them, not about you. Right? And so you can keep moving on and go on to the next thing and find what it is that you want. Can I just tell you my story about online dating?
You better.
It's a amazing story. So I was married for 15 years. I have 3 wonderful kids. And then everything started to disintegrate, right? My marriage and all that. And my business and everything disintegrated. And so I started dating. And I went on 15 dates in 3 months. And I had an absolute blast. I swore I would never get married again. I didn't want any of that. I met a guy who ended up being my accountant for 5 years. I had such a great time. Maybe there were 2 instances where, somebody was boring. And so we just kind of ended that. But mostly the dates were really fun. And then I met this guy, and it was just really easy. It was really easy. We had a really great time. And we started double dating with this other woman who was dating this other guy that I had been dating on the side. And the 4 of us just started going out on dates together. And I kept saying, I just want to have a good time, which is code name for, I wanted to roll around in bed a little bit.
That's my girl.
You might as well be honest. And so here we were having a really good time. And I kept saying, yeah, I just want it to be simple and easy. And one day we were driving down, we're in Portland, right? So we're driving down to Eugene for the country fair. And he turns to me and he says, okay, so now tell me what you really want, because what you've been saying is that you just want it light, but that's not true anymore. It's just, I don't believe you. And in 3 weeks, we're celebrating our 14th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
That's my girl.
I love it.
And I love that. Dana, you and I have had offline conversations, too, about that. And that has been always, you've been one of my favorite like relationships to watch, kind of. I don't mean that in a weird way, or maybe I do. Yeah, I get how I get, but because it's so fascinating. Yeah, I love that there's an ease factor to your relationship. And do you guys think that's for anything? There has to be. I mean, not that life is easy, but don't you think there has to be a certain ease factor to things of that it's not just too difficult for them to get you or understand you, right?
Right, ease of compatibility, but also ease because I have all the space in the world for him to be exactly the way he is and how he's not. And he has all the room in the world for me to be exactly who I am. Mm. So we're not fighting each other or trying to change each other, or we're just really appreciating each other. And so it makes it really easy. And it's really funny. He came from a very volatile marriage before me, and I was a yeller and a screamer. And we never, ever raise our voices.
I call that stompy bitch shoes, by the way.
Yeah,
put your stompy bitch shoes. You're just like clumping around the house. So, right, you love that. That's so interesting that you both came from that background, which is when you learn how to that's the only way you know how to communicate is from that. You meet that one, the ease of it too. Real quick question. I love this one from Marcus. Hi, Marcus. He says, do you think it's a good idea to put aside your wish list for your ideal partner for a first date and just try to go with the flow and accept whatever comes up, which is kind of what we were just talking about, that Erica, that was directed to you, but I think for both of you, talk about that too, of expectation versus like just being very staunch. I mean, you need to know what you want or what you don't want to accept, which is crappy gaslighting behavior. We should talk about that. But yeah, talk about how you deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, this actually goes along with the comment that I was just about to say, which is what I liked about Dana, your story the most, was that you were just having fun and you didn't put any pressure on yourself. Because we see it all the time where people go on a first date and they're trying to jump from point A to point Z, like sit down and within 5 minutes I need to know if this person is going to be, you know, my soulmate or the father of my child. That's crazy. So to Marcus, I would say it's really important to nail down what are your non-negotiables, right? Because you shouldn't be on a first date with somebody who just doesn't fulfill your non-negotiables. So let's say, for example, religion is so important to you and you only can be with somebody of the same religion, then it's not, I would argue that it's not worth it to go on a first date with somebody who doesn't have that. So once you hit your non-negotiables, and it shouldn't be a laundry list of 100 things, it should be a few things, then, yeah, go with the flow. Because a lot of my clients ask me, well, I need to know what their goals are, and I need to know if they want children, and I need to know what their divorce was like. And I'm like, let's see if you even like each other before that becomes an issue, before you're divulging everything about your whole life and your story and your this and that and your medical issues. Let's see if you even like talking to each other, because then it's a moot point.
Oh, I so agree. I actually think that it's even more, right? Like, you should go on your first date. Just the whole idea of a first date is just to get to the second date.
Yes, it's just to have a conversation.
Just have a conversation to see if you want to spend more time together.
Exactly.
And then, I
would be high-fiving you, by the way, if we were in the same room.
There we go. I think that relationships in general have a series of milestones. And the first one is the first date. Have a good time. See if you like somebody, right? So that you want to spend more time with them. And then the second date is really the next one. But after, to see if you want to, because after the second date, you're like, oh, well, now we've spent 3 hours and maybe another 6 hours together. You know, okay, do I really want to spend more time with this person? And then comes a whole series of getting to know you. Right? You don't have to know whether somebody, what their goals are on the third date. But by a few months down the road, you know, you should know those things and whether you're going in the same direction. And then the third milestone comes when either you want to sleep together, so that for women that's a really big one, like am I going to go to bed with them, right? Or am I going to see you exclusively? And each milestone kind of takes you to the next level of, are you willing to trust? Are you willing to take that next risk? Are you willing to go the next step and open yourself up just a little bit more? And at each step, the risk gets higher or deeper, right? The pain can get worse. the farther you go in. But it's just a series of steps, and at any time you get to a point where the answer is yes, I want to go forward, or no, I don't, and you make that choice then. So that's the way I've always looked at it.
I agree with everything, but I would actually add too, if it's not a complete no, then it's worth taking the next step to see. Because a lot of people overthink things and they're like, well, I'm just not sure, so I shouldn't go with it. And I say the opposite. If you're just not sure, it's just one more date. You don't owe this person anything. You're not leading them on. The whole point is to get to know someone.
Don't you guys think so? So what I'm loving, first off, is everybody needs to calm the F down on the first date, right?
No kidding. Calm the F down.
Stop making it this be-all, end-all. And I think it's interesting, Erica, you were saying that you had a 20-year-old guy and a 40-year-old woman from completely different things that were saying the exact same thing. Like, I don't want to wait.
Exact same thing. And it was so interesting to me. I mean, it was within about an hour yesterday. I already wrote an article about it because it was too good. And I said, if you keep thinking that this first date is the opposite, instead of building it up, they kept saying, is it going to be a waste of my time? And I said, if you already have that idea in your head, you're showing up with that idea, and then it'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy. It will be a waste of your time because you're not fully there.
You really can't. You can't fool Mother Nature on that one. Like, that comes out. That like, if you are feeling, if you're just that, like, ugh, not another one. My girl Cherylnn's in the audience. She says, my 2 cents, dating is way too much fun, and most single friends I know get crazy nervous about being stood up, freak out about what to wear. And she's all, how about go have fun and stop worrying about it?
Exactly.
It's going out and meeting people, enjoying the company of others. I think we put way too much pressure. And I agree too. And then somebody did mention, they were saying, Michael was saying something about that boundaries can be consuming. But I think the idea of having your non-negotiables down pat really are important. That way you're just like, no, that's okay. But talk to me about this. This is a tough one. We all have a really hard time confronting anything that's not working for us. Like, think about if we go get our hair done and we don't like it. Like, everybody hates to say something. So for both of you, could you give us some tips on how to be like, it's not me, it's you. Like, how to graciously get out of, like, I'm not, or say I'm not interested. That would be a good one.
I think those words really work, Mia. You know what? I'm not really interested. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I pretty much, in different words, say the same thing. I'm just not feeling a connection. I just wasn't feeling the spark I was hoping for, but I wish you the best. Now, I will say, there are no obligations. After the first date, I tell my clients, if neither of you want to follow up after the first date, then don't follow up. But if somebody does express interest after that first date or after the second date, whatever it is, then you have to let them down. You can't just ignore it, because too many people just ignore that. And then that person has made themselves vulnerable by saying, you know, I'm interested, I want to see you again. By ignoring them, you're saying you don't really value that person at all. So that's when I would do the, I just didn't feel the connection, but thank you so much. I wish you the best.
Yeah, and honesty is always the best.
Honesty is maybe not complete honesty, not like, I hated your teeth, go get them fixed. More just like, it's not the right fit for me, but, it was great meeting you.
That's right. Really, when we say honesty, we don't mean lack of compunction. We don't mean it.
No, I mean, there are so many things I've wanted to tell my dates, but I stick with just, it's not a connection.
Somebody once told her she was too positive. Really? Like, yeah, that gets them out of your dating pool right off the bat. Then, like, oh, thanks for being that honest, because how can you imagine what a jerk that would have been? Oh,
right.
That's too.
But I will say, with the nice, tactful, honest comment, it allows room for that person to be something else in your life. Like, Dana, you said you found an accountant out of this. I've actually set up dates who I wasn't that into with friends of mine, and they're all very happy now because it ended nicely and maturely and tactfully, and nobody can really be angry with you for being honest. They could be disappointed, but they can't really be angry.
And if they are, that's not on you. So
That's not on you at all.
That's right.
We can coach people on that too, of like, well, we worry about what the reaction is, but really all you can worry about is how you say it to that person. Now, how they take
Exactly.
it, right? I got nothing. That's your problem, right? What do you guys think about? You like my attitude. What do you think about the books of 5 love languages? Have either of you delved into that?
I have some of my clients read it, because I am really mostly a business coach, right? But I have them read it not only for their partnerships, but when they're working with their clients, right?
Yes.
Love languages are really about how people accept appreciation. Like, how do people understand that you care about them, whatever level that is, whether you're friends, whether you're lovers, whether you're client client. And I think it's really, really useful, even if for nothing else than to just ask, like, do you like to get presents, or do you like to be told how great you are, how wonderful I think you are, or how much I love you? It's been great for in my life, but it's also been great for my clients who use it.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Yeah, Erica, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really helpful to learn about yourself so that you can express what you want to other people. So, for example, if you like the verbal validation, then you can say to a partner, whether a business partner or a romantic partner, I really like when you tell me what you're thinking. Like, you can say, like, this gift is so thoughtful, but what really means something to me is when you say the words. And that way, you've expressed at the beginning how you appreciate communication, and I just think it's helpful to learn about yourself.
It's always helpful to learn about yourself, no matter
Absolutely.
right? No matter what part of it is, if you're willing to delve into the personal development of yourself and get better, then it can't help your life growth. It's really the only way to grow.
No, absolutely.
I work with so many women who have businesses, and I have come to believe that owning a business is a personal development course.
I believe that. I mean, as a business owner, I learn about myself all the. I mean, what you really learn too is how to deal with other people. How to deal with people, because a lot of people don't know their own love languages or ways of communication. So often as a business person, especially if you're doing a service, you got to figure that out for yourself and then treat them accordingly. Boy, it's hard.
It is really hard. And sometimes, you'll be having a conversation, let's say, with a potential client, and you'll be talking to them from who you are without actually listening to the kind of person that they are. And so you can run roughshod over them, or maybe you're not listening to them in a way that you're really hearing what they're saying. I think actually one of the biggest mistakes that we make in our relationships that really impact us both in the bedroom and in our businesses is that we are listening to people's words. We're not listening to what's between the words. We don't listen to the things that are unsaid. 90% of communication happens in the background, in the what's not being said, and the intention. So, and this comes up a lot in terms of being criticized, right? People will say, nah, 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 nah. And we take that to heart because all we heard were the words. But generally what's behind the words is, I really care about you, or I love you, or I'm really worried about you. And there's Mia, I think.
But I don't know. Do you mind if I chime in for a second here?
No, please.
Because this is, an interesting topic coming from a perspective that obviously, as a guy, I don't usually hear. But when it comes to things like breaking off a relationship or advancing a relationship even to the next level, communicating that to another person. I'm right there with you, and hopefully a lot of guys are too, with the honesty policy. Let's be adults, let's be compassionate, and let's be honest with how we feel. Doesn't mean we have to hurt each other with harmful words, but saying I'm not into you is totally, it should be totally acceptable. But you know, you have to. It's like knowing your audience too, knowing who you're talking to. If you're dealing with somebody who's overly sensitive, or somebody who's got a hot temper, hopefully, you know, those kinds of things might be on your, you know, this is a deal breaker kind of list. So it's pretty interesting that it's really all about communication, not just about the words that people are saying, like you're saying here. It's in the body language, it's in the eyes, it's in just the everyday, day-to-day behavior, and how somebody, you know, just witnessing how that person might interact with somebody else, knowing that how the dynamic works between them and other people. All those things are important. So it's pretty cool to hear this being talked about openly, because I don't think it's a topic that
no, keep going.
Chat,
you got it.
It's great. I mean, and communication is so important in many different ways. Like, Dana, you probably hear this too, where I'll have clients complain to me, particularly women, and say, you know, he's just not doing this. You know, it's just not working. I can't believe he won't pick up the phone and call. He's only texting me. Or, why will he ask me on Thursday if I'm free for the weekend? And I'll say immediately, well, have you told him that's what you want? And they'll be like, well, no. And I'm like, but he's not a mind reader.
Nobody is. Nobody's a mind reader.
Exactly.
You know? And if you are, you don't mind read in a relationship situation.
No way, Jose.
That's like hacking somebody's computer if you're doing that. So, you don't want that.
Do you guys think that's a Mars-Venus thing, though, with the whole, like, he should know that kind of thing? Is there a little bit of the Mars-Venus type of thing in it?
I think it comes from both ways. We expect the people that we are dating or that we're in a relationship with to somehow be able to grok, I don't know, maybe that's dating me, but everything about us, right? Like to really get into our minds and know what we want. Or what actually is more common is we only see the world through our own experience. And we expect everybody else to have the same experience that we do. So we interact with people as if they're us. But they're not us, right? They're them. And unless you can acknowledge the fact that, you know, Mia, you're different from me. And so if we're going to do something, I need to make sure and check in with you that you're having the same reaction or that you're having a reaction that works. Otherwise, I don't know. I just expect you to have the reaction I'm having. And that all happens in communication, both in using the words and in observing how people are.
I think that goes back to everybody needs to calm the F down.
Yeah.
Is that the theme of today's show?
I think everything is just everybody calm the F down.
Have fun. That's
She said while she's having a panic attack.
Gotta have fun. Have fun and communicate and sympathize, empathize. You know, start exercising those, you know, neural nets in your head.
Well, you guys, I think that's probably the common thing. It really is. It's just we've taken the fun out of it. I mean, I think that dating's become a business, right? I mean, it is a business.
It should be in that it takes work to meet somebody, which I don't think enough people realize. They think somebody is just going to sweep them off their feet over the frozen foods at the supermarket. That's not how life works, right? Anything you want in life is work.
It doesn't?
I know, right? But so it does take work, which people don't get. They need a new job. They work for that. However, you're still doing the work, but that's separate and apart from the fact that you have to have fun too, you know, because it shouldn't feel like work every date that's leading to this outcome that you think is success. You know, success is each step along the way.
Yeah, I was just thinking about what you were saying about work, and you know, here's the truth about dating and relationships. Falling in love over the grocery counter or walking down the street or by accident at a friend's party happens to enough people that people automatically think it's going to happen to me or that it's the norm. So it's not that it doesn't happen. It does actually occasionally happen. And that's the problem, is that it happens enough to other people that we then think, oh, well, that's supposed to happen to me, and if it's not happening, there's something wrong with me. I must be doing something wrong. Why does this have to be so hard? It wasn't so hard for my friend Sally. And so, you know, it kind of folds in on itself. It keeps it going as if that it's not a lot of work. And so people get really surprised.
I agree. And I also tell people, in addition to that, like, you can't go onto every airplane and think the person next to you is going to be the next love of your life. Like, in addition to that, I also say, well, your friend Allie or whoever you just said, like, would you want to be with her, whatever, boyfriend, spouse? And usually the answer is no, because everyone has different standards, right? Because I'll say, you could be with somebody, too, who you met in line at Starbucks, but that's not a choice you wanted to make.
Right, right. It's funny that you mentioned the airplane, because I actually, I fly a lot. I travel a ton for work. And every time I go on the airplane, I figure I'm going to sit down and I'm going to meet my next potential client. Now, that does not always happen, right? But I do have some of the most fascinating conversations on airplanes with people. I've actually made friends with people on airplanes who are still my friends.
I love that. Dana, you and I are going to be friends. We think alike.
So, you know, don't not talk to the person next to you.
No, of course.
Right? But don't expect to go home and climb into bed with them either.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. It happens, but it doesn't happen all that often. And I'm sure sometimes when those things happen, they don't usually end well. So, yeah, don't wish for some of those kind of things all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Is Mia out of it again?
Yeah, well, I think Mia is still having some technical difficulties here, so she was trying to get back in with her phone to go ahead and wrap the show up here.
Okay.
Hi, Mia. I'm so sorry you can't. Well, I'll put you on the screen and I'll just mouth for you. Bob, 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 Bob. Sorry, I don't know what to say other than thanks, guys, for being here, and it's been a very interesting show. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, let's Dana,
Sure
you and I should tell people how they can find us.
Okay, awesome. You go first.
Please do.
Okay, so you can find me online at alittle.nudge.com. So a little nudge, not a little nudge. And my email address is Erica with a K, ERIKA @alittlnudge.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great.
Awesome.
And Dana?
I'm Dana Corey, and you can find me at danacorey.com. My email is dana@danacorey.com, and that's DANA, and Corey is COREY. And you can, you know, it's really fun. You can go to my website and take a quiz. You can email me and then ask me questions, and it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed this, even with all of the crazy
Me too.
technological mess that it's been. It's been really fun. Thanks, Mia.
Thank you, Mia.
Mia says thank you, too. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast. I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully, Mia will see you guys soon, too.
Yeah. Bye.
On thing, your non-phone.
Okay.
And then you might
I think we're live. Oh, hello everyone, and welcome, because this is going to be the most effed up show you've ever seen, and you're going to like it, right?
That's why I'm here.
And that's why Bill is there. He's the king. So, hey, I'm Mia Voss. You're watching the Mia Connect Power Chat, and you're actually watching two Mias. You've got, like, neck vision, which for a woman over 40 is not a good view. So, I'm moving my camera for that. So big shout out to Bill Reed, who has been calming my crazy ass down for the last half an hour. You guys, my Windows audio just completely crapped the bed. And here's the funny thing. My two guests have been so patient this week that I've been like checking in with them, making sure they were all had everything set up. And who's the problem child? Right? So with that, after this show is done, this is going to happen. And I don't care that it's only going to be 10:30 in the morning, so how about that? So right now, I'm actually going through my computer and then through my phone for the audio. So hopefully it's sounding good to everybody. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you're doing good.
Sounds fine to me.
All right, cool. Let's get started. Listen, that's Bill Reed. He's going to be in with us for the relationship expert. This lovely woman, this is Erica. Hello, darling. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I like that background too. And your company is called, yes, and your company is called A Little Nudge. I love that name.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk, we're going to get to you in a second. We're going to tell us all about it. This is Dana Corey. Hey, gorgeous. I love those glasses too. My girls are looking so beautiful.
So glad you're having me here. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm really glad to see your face.
You too, and come hell or high water, we're going to do this too. So, hey guys out in the audience, I'm going to open this up so I can see your comments too. I'm afraid to turn on comment tracker here, but I might have you girls move your cameras up a little bit because for some reason, look at Leah, look at there's Mia Vision there. Everybody's sitting below the desktop, so I might have you move it up just a little tiny bit. Let me open this up because I think the audience has been waiting patiently. Have they not, Bill? Do you see any comments there? We lost Bill.
I'm not even looking. I don't even know where to look at this point.
That's okay. Look, yeah, Bill's just happy to, as my phrase I love to say, Bill's just happy to have pants on, right? And we don't even know if Bill has pants on. There's that too.
You won't know.
Till we get to till we get to what's on the bottom.
Pants on either. Just saying.
Oh, wow.
Who needs
I didn't even think
on
about
Friday?
it. I didn't even. It's Friday. Here we go. So here are our comments today. We've got Sheila Hensley. She says, hey, Mia Voss, problem child, sounding really good. Thank you, darling. Dave Pipe is out there. He's here from England. Hello, my brother. Carmen's here from Spain. Kim Armstrong, love you to bits. Ron Schneeberger. Nazim says, this is where Meerkat could have saved the day, except that we wouldn't have been able to see everybody else, although that would have been funny to watch me panic like I did. Yeah, let's see, who else do we have? Nazim, thank you. Mike, John, Emmy, I got your message. Thank you so much. Ashley is here in the audience, the girl that gave me the super booty. I'm just saying. Dawn Swick, Renshaw, hi, Twinsy, love you to bits. Richard, guys, so we have our experts here today. We're going to be talking about relationships and everything about relationships. So not just dating, but what it takes to kind of get yourself in the right mindset so that all of your relationships.
And then since my background is pretty analytical, I started tracking my results. So what was my response rate? What was my conversion rate from response to date? And I really got that working so that my response rate was as high as it could be. My conversion rate was too. And then my friends started asking for help. What are you doing that I'm not? How can you help me? Can you rewrite my profile? So on the one hand, I was in finance and it just wasn't for me. I wanted to leave. And on the other hand, I loved what I was doing to help with my friends. And I realized I can make this a business. So I quit my job just over 4 years ago and started A Little Nudge. And it essentially gets people over the obstacles of doing online dating. It's hard to write about yourself, so I help with that. And it's extremely time consuming, so I help with that too. And then last year, I came out with my first book called Love at First Sight, S-I-T-E, that essentially takes you from the first click of an online dating site through the first date.
Got it. Hold on one second. Somebody is making a comment about the focus, but don't worry about it. I just turned it. It's all on Erica right now, which is all good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Erica, I love that. I just think that is so interesting that you had relationships are aligned, business, personal, the whole thing. That doesn't mean that I know how to run a show well, but maybe my relationships will be better. Who knows? So, so Erica, I'm going to start with you, darling. Tell us about you and tell us about A Little Nudge.
Sure, I'd love to. So thanks for having me. And so my name is Erica Etten, and I have a business called A Little Nudge, where I help people with all aspects of online dating. So how does one even get into this field? They didn't offer online dating 101 in college or anything like that. So my background's actually in economics, and I worked in finance for a long time. But I realized it wasn't my cup of tea. And what was my cup of tea? Online dating. I was a very early adopter of online dating. I started, I'm sorry, I'm seeing something crazy on the screen.
Yeah, sorry, that's me.
Okay.
You know what, forget it. You're going to see the floor. You're going to see my dog here. It's all good.
Oh, I left mine home today. I started online dating back in 2001 when nobody did online dating. And I did it on and off for years, had different, various relationships, lots of dates.